Modern culture promotes a very specific, highly polished version of romance. The idea that finding a soulmate guarantees a life on autopilot. We expect a relationship to function as a frictionless vacuum, where compromise isn't necessary because your partner is a perfect mirror of your own desires. This expectation collapses the moment we confront the reality of human nature. We are inherently flawed, inconsistent, and prone to error. Eventually, even in the best pairings, we will inevitably hurt the people we love. Because we were promised effortless harmony, our first instinct during a conflict is to assume the match is wrong. We treat relationships like a product with a defect. If it requires maintenance, we'd rather return it than repair it. This reflex to abandon the struggle prevents us from ever developing the resilience needed for a deep bond. A lasting connection isn't found by avoiding the friction. It is forged by staying in the fire until the rough edges are smoothed away. When we stop offering grace for those rough edges, our ego rushes in to fill the void. We stop seeing our partner's mistakes as human errors and begin seeing them as personal attacks. This is when we open the mental scorecard. Every sharp word, every forgotten chore, and every perceived slight is logged into a secret ledger that we carry into every interaction. This continuous tracking changes how we process reality. Minor annoyances are no longer isolated incidents. They become data points in a larger case we are building against the person we claim to love. The relationship shifts into a cold, adversarial competition. We stop acting like a unified team and begin acting like opposing lawyers, scouring every conversation for evidence to use in our next closing argument. We tell ourselves this scorecard is about justice or fairness. In reality, it is a mechanism for distance. You cannot be truly intimate with someone while you are busy auditing their failures. Breaking this cycle requires a move toward a more rigorous, spiritual definition of connection. Ancient tradition calls this agape love, a disciplined attitude that functions as a direct counter-narrative to our selfish instincts. Agape is a deliberate posture. It's a commitment to maintaining equilibrium, dismantling the desire to be superior. This balance is preserved through a conscious refusal to criticize. You choose to see your partner's welfare as equal to your own. This is inherently painful. To love this way, you have to sacrifice your own ego and your need to be the right one in the argument. You are essentially volunteering to absorb the cost of their mistakes. This willingness to endure the pain of self-sacrifice divides temporary lust and spiritual love. It is the transition from wanting someone for what they give you to loving them for who they are. When we refuse to make that sacrifice, the consequences move beyond the psychological. Harboring a grudge creates a massive structural blockage in your spiritual life. Every unreleased offense becomes what the Bible calls an idol in the heart. This internal idol acts as a legal anchor in the spiritual world, giving negative forces a valid reason to claim territory in your life. Think of your spirit as a vessel designed to hold vitality. Unresolved anger is corrosive. It eats away at the base of that vessel, causing a phenomenon known as spiritual leakage. No matter how much you try to fill yourself with peace or joy, it simply drains out through the holes your resentment created. This leakage explains why your internal life feels paralyzed. When you hold an idol of unforgiveness, the accuser uses that very record of offense to testify against you, rendering your prayers ineffective and your spirit heavy. This is why spiritual strength is often withheld. If you cannot be trusted to love the person sitting across from you, you cannot be trusted with the power to influence the world. The blockage is complete. By refusing to forgive, we think we are exacting a price from our partner. We don't realize that we are the ones paying the bill, losing our internal clarity and strength to fuel a fire that only burns us. To plug the leak, you have to engage in the most difficult discipline a human being can master. You have to find the specific offense that you've used as a weapon and dismantle it. You have to look at the person you have been auditing and speak the words, "I am sorry." The ego resists this with everything it has. It fears that an apology is a confession of total fault, when it is actually just a confession that you value the connection more than your own pride. Swallowing that pride acts as a spiritual reset. The moment the words are spoken with sincerity, the legal grounds for that accuser disappear. The corrosive leakage stops because the source of the resentment has been removed. An apology is an act of extreme spiritual maturity. It is the moment you stop being a victim of your own scorecard and start taking responsibility for the atmosphere of your life. Look honestly at the person you are currently resenting. Find that one specific offense you've promised yourself you will never forget, the one you use to feel superior during every argument. This is the moment for practical application. Theory ends here, and the work begins. Take that record of offense and tear it up, not because the other person deserves it, but because your spiritual health depends on it. Decide today that you will no longer provide a home for that resentment. Walk into the next room or pick up the phone. Speak those 3 words. Repair the altar of your relationship, and let the fire of your spiritual life finally return.